when we talk about a family within the African context, in this globalized world, we have to talk about the family in the Western context as well. So in the West, they talk about nuclear family, that is father, mother, and kids. In Africa, we're talking about what Westerners will regard as extended family. So you're talking about father, mother, grandparents, you have cousins, you have uncles, you have aunts as well. However, some people that you'd call cousins in the Western settings, you'd call brothers, you'd call sisters in the African settings. My father's brother, if he's younger, he is my rangwani in Setswana, meaning my younger father. His son is not my cousin, is my brother. His daughter is not my cousin, it's my sister. In the West, is a cousin. And so that is how an African family looks like.
Ke a leboga bagolo ke tlo kopa gore ke reintroduce hape the whole project re tlile mo ka interest thasello ya gore re tlo buisana ka taba ya leloko la rona jalo ka ma-Afrika Borwa gore na leloko la rona le tswa kae le ya kae re go kae hona jwale as Africans ka taba enana ya leloko yaanong ke nagana gore motlhongwe re tlhompheng kgosi re thomeng ka kgosi jwale ka re bona gore se le motho wa mogolo a ke ra motona and then o tla re bolelela yena kutlwisiso ya hae ya leloko la ma-Afrika ka mokgone ba phela ka teng ka mokgo dintho di se di fetohile ka teng
ta khona teta nganta kon teta na ja ngate kwa ja kom le a kwa ja kom nya te no mboro nga ke ja ikano ta koma ja kam diri ku ya ja koma to bene mo mbeng e ja si oro ha ho a ja te kama to ba ja mo beng ene gwe ja mde khulina kwa ja te diri ku ya na ko te jaro ka a ja mo ke mo ja ta to he jam ta to ma jam to ma ta kwa ja ngate kwa ja te le ku ku te no ngano ja ko jing aro yi she ngeng e ta ma a ja mo rawa ke te ko ja ngama he ja ko ku te no mboro nga ja ko aya ja ana ko te no ta ko mdi ku ye ko ma ko ata ngam ti ku ye ta ko ma ko ha no ngano ja ko aro ta ko ku ja ko mnya te no jere ke ku ja ko ko te
re leboge kgosi ka gore gore fa history akere ra utlwisisa gore makhoisi ena phela yang o bona phapang yang mo di-community tsa bone le gore I think point a e buileng ya botlhokwa ke taba ya gore bana ba mamele batsadi ba bone so it seems to be something e le gore ha e sa le ntse e le teng ha e sa le ntse e le botlhokwa and ke tlo tlhoka gore re bue gape ka structure akere ka leloko le re bitsang the primary fundamental institution of a human being a motho ke tla fa mama sebaka
dumelang gape ha re ka lebelela dijo tsa mo Afrika rotlhe re na le sengwe se e leng gore sa tshwana re le ma Afrika re batho ba e leng gore re na le botho ke selo se e leng gore re tsetswe re lentse jalo re tsetswe re na le shone jaaka kgosi a buile gore re tshwanetse re reetse bagolo ga ba re thiba ga ba re guide ke shone se ke yone the base ya morafu wa ma-Afrika ga gona ope mo lefatsheng yo o sa batleng go nna le a sense of belonging ke lone ka lebaka leo mo Afrika go na le se se bidiwang a family kgotsa lone leloko ene e simolola ka monna le mosadi ba nyalana ba nna le bana rre le mme ba na le maloko a bona teng mo malokong a ke gone mo go tswang borakgadi bo malume bo mme mogolo le bontatemogolo ene mongwe le mongwe wa leloko le o na le a role e a e tshamekang a e playang mo familing ye yotlhe. I came here because I've been an African Renaissance activist. And I saw an opportunity to come and share whatever knowledge I have. And during my readings and my researches, I've noticed that the culture of the African people is dying. And I wanted to be part of the people that brings it back to life.
Re a dumelana gore go senyeile kere phoso ke ya mang gore re tsebe go lokisa re tshwanela re tsebe gore go sentse mang so re batla go tseba gore na phoso ke ya mang phoso ke ya bagolo ba rona phoso ke ya rona batjha phoso ke ya democracy phoso re tshwanela re tsebe gore na ha re lokisa re lo lokisa kae so phoso ke ya mang.
Dumelang gape. I don't think it's necessary for us to play the blame game. Let me just speak from a personal point of view. My family is mainly, it consists of black people and colored people. And that came about with the Group Areas Act. Ne? We were all black, but because some were just lighter than others, half of my family was classified as colored. And that's where I come from, the colored side. So now being from the colored side, I hate the word colored. I don't really like using it, but for this, I will just, being from that side of the family, ne? Most of the culture was lost. The language was lost, you know? So we grew up more or less in a Christian environment. Ne? So now I took it upon myself this year. It took many, many years, but there was just something inside of me that said I needed to connect to my culture. So I took it upon myself to go out there and connect with the other side of the family and find out what happened, where did it all go wrong. So in essence, I believe we shouldn't play the blame game. What happened, happened. It's up to us to find out where we are, where we're going, how, like what happened, and to fix it from like the point where we are at, you know, so that our children don't have to go through the same things.
I'm from Galeshwe, Kimberley. I'm an aspiring community developer. Since the beginning of this year, I've been walking on a cultural and spiritual path, né? Because from my background, we are from a Christian background. So even my great-grandparents and my parents and grandparents, they've never been cultural people, so I've lost like lots of my culture. I'm like culturally inexperienced. And because of the work that I do, I've realized that it's important for you to find some sort of lineage. Having said that, I feel in order for me to do what I do in the community, I need to also know as a person culturally where I fit in and where I am from.
Language is central to people's definition of themselves. And in this case, when Africans move from using their specific language to Western language, they are not only throwing away a means of communication, but they are assuming a new way of defining themselves.
Ke morena wa motse, morena wa sebaka sena, Thibella ke morena Sekonyela, nna ke morena motse, motse o bitswang Ditsiking. Nna hantle lebitso ke Mokoko Isaac Mthokwa Iqhote, mme mo ke sebetsana le setjhaba ka hohlehohle. Ke bile ke ngaka nna ke lethuela, nna ke traditional healer. No, ha ke sebedise traditional healer, ke a phekola ka meriana, ke ngaka nyenyanga. Ke batla ho bontsha fela ngaka se taba ya ho shebana le ntho tse mpe fela. Ke motho wa leloko leo, ho etsa dintho di be ntle o tshwantse a tsebe le hore na re tlo ja bonama tseo re ne re sa tsebe di-spice tseo, re ne re tseba hore ditlamatlameng tse monate ke ena e ba sa ba tshwareng hantle ke ena go ba bang ga o le tjena ga o le tjena re ke be ra etsa ntho ena gobane leloko leo dintho tseo ne di siwa batho ba bang ba bongaka se gore ke ntho ya gore tshwantse o be le thuela nna ke le thuela e sa ngoma angisisangoma ngiyinyanga mina inyanga uyazi imithi ko tseba meriana lo tseba gore na ntho tse itseng a di itswe ka nako itseng le tlhago e ka nna ya lwana le rona re ke be ya ra tsamaya se re lo hlaba mohlomong o na le a hlokafetseng tshwantse re o photla se tshwantse re o etse ka nako tse itseng sefako se taba teng ra tseba tlhago e tla revolt e tla re etsetsa mosebetsi wa ngaka le rona o sebana le dintho tseno tsa gore tse itseng a re di etse ka nako itseng ga di etsuwe di etsuwa tjena ga di etsuwa tjena tse ntle le tse mpe e se o ba laela o ba bontsha le bona o tseba ba ba lebala motho eno ngaka o na sebetsa le morena go na le ngaka ya morena kore ke ya mona a tsebang le gore leloko le mona mo a dulang teng batho bana ba utlwisa jwang ba etsa dintho jwang taba eo bua ngaka ha o re jwale ka ke bua ke re ngaka ba o etsa ba re o entse medicine university feng le mo di feng re bontshe dipampiri ke ka ona ke reng ba colonizer science ke yona e tswalang bongaka jwale mona tshwantse o ye ka bona ga o sa ua ka mekgwa ya rona jwale ka setšhaba ka botsa gore na ngaka ya motse mo ntho tse itseng tse a tseba ntho tse ngata ma setšhaba se tla bolelela motho a itseng tseba mekudu e itseng a itseng empa ka jeno ngaka ko re borena le bongaka ba setso a ke dintho tsa go bapala fela maišedi o shebe ebile ba bolelela gore kopana maletsetse ebile ba re labela ba re fa mabitso o traditional doctor ke mmotsa gore ke itse ke ngaka nna ke traditional doctor ke ngaka jwale wa e se gore ke traditional doctor ga e se ngaka ga o re ngaka keng e doctor ke inyanga jwale wa e se gore traditional doctor ko o bontsha gore ga o mpone gore ke ntho mang ke ka ona le gore borena le dingaka ka ra constitution ga ona ntho e teng motho o ishebetse wa western ga o ba makatsa ka ntho o tla utlwa ba re o tseba ntho ga o tseba ntho itseng ba re tlia merianeng ya gago re tlotla so that can be scientifically been tested jwale o ka ipotsa gore ga o re scientifically been tested what do you mean western way of approach I'm not using science to mix those things jwale ko colonizer science e ka re ha ntho di tjena e se le bona ba western ba ditse ba ha ona le more ko ra ona le more kopanang le teng ke dingaka tsa kgale tseo nna go bolelela ntho tse ke di tsebang manapo ke ne ke ena le bona mono ngaka mo motho o bone jwang ka bo 1990 dipampiri ke tla o bontsha ka mane ko re o shebe bona 1990 go na le ba utlwisisa gore motho o ne o tseba ntho itseng because o tseba le o cura ntho itseng e re tlola jwale ka nnete constitution wa ngaya o na mo re protectang teng marena dingaka a re bone gore ntho mamo
What we're calling each other defines our relationships. In English, everybody's an aunt, but in Setswana, which is Southern African, for instance, my mother's younger sister is Mangwani, which in English one would loosely translate as younger mother. My mother's older sister is Mamukholo, loosely translated as senior mother. How I relate to these people is different. Younger mother or Mangwani could be delegated by my mother to take over mothering duties when my mother is not there or is busy with one or two other things. Senior mother, Mamukholo, could take over mothering duties in the event my mother is physically incapable or is deceased. Or senior mother can delegate younger mother, Mangwani, to do one or two things. The same with uncles. My father's younger brother is Ramwani, that is younger father. Senior father, Ramogolo. Malome is my mother's brother. And there are specific roles to these people, what I call them. So Malome, being my mother's brother, has got a specific role. For instance, when I want to get married, the person who must go and negotiate with the family of the woman that I want to marry is my mother's brother, is Malome. It's not any other uncle. So this specific uncle has this specific role to play in my life, in the continuity of culture in this particular family.
Ha le shebile le bone ka re leloko la maAfrika le tla khotlela mo le tswang teng, ha le shebile le bone ka re re tla kgona go ilukisa ntho e re reng re a ilukisa, re ka kgona hore re dudisaneng fatshe re khutleleng ditseleng tsa rona tsa bogologolo tsa boutata rona re boneng hore na maAfrika re phedisana jwang hobane hona tjena o mong hulela kwa o mong hulela kwa le ka lapeng ngwana o ikela kwa ntate o ikela kwa mme o ikela re ka kgona hore re ilukise bohle re bile re identify the institutions tse re buileng ka tsona ka jeno re identify hore ka lelokong ka lelapeng hona le institution e itseng kapa hona le role e itseng le hore na tiro ya role eo ka lelapeng le ho aga lelapa le ke eng.
Ke a leboga ga ke itse ba gaetsho Ntswana Maloba o na re butho buile ga ke itse ba gaetsho gore ra go botshwara kae ke ne ke re ke utlwile re wa ntlha hana bua ona bua ka dithata tsa bogosi le dithata tsa bogosi le batsadi wa bona ha puso ya rona re shebile ka leihlo le leng tshotso tota re utlwile botlhoko ke gopola the late me Ruta Mompati hana re wa bona gore re dutse re batsadi re dutse ka pelo e botlhoko ha re bona ditshwetso tse ko parlamenteng ba di tsayang tse dingwe tse di re itumedisang tse dingwe ke tse di re dudiseng ka pelo e botlhoko mme ga re bue ke a mo gopola ha go buiwa jana ke ne ke re ra ke kopa nna go ya ka maikutlo a ka le ya ka re bua a puso e busetse bogosi dithata tsa yone tsa kgale puso e busetse dithata tse di tshotseng mo batsading tsa gore skwanta ngwana ka bidiwa rona re itse gore mahura a ngwana ke go tsengwa moretlwa
yaanong ka bokoa ke ko matlhakoane ka baka la bokoa go lata bana mme rona re bua ka dilo tsa maloba ha re gola ke bona ka 1930 ga ka bona ke ditse yana le ga se ke ne le bokoa jo bo heteletseng le bokoa jo bo lekaneng mme re bua ka dilo tsa rona tsa maloba bana ga ba utlwe batsadi bana ka mme a ntse a bua a re puso e tshetse bana mo go rona ya ba ile gore ba ile jaaka go rata bone e le sela ke a ra mogolo a go omanya wa mmušulosa ebe yona gore a re boramma ga o ka bua e bone gore a re borammago o no sela ke wa morago ba le yana o na le mmago go ntse le ba bua jalo
dumelang bagolo ha e sa le ke dutse mo ke bone selo se le nosi o ka re go na le kgotlhang mo gare ga bagolo le batšha and potso ko re batšha ba nagana gore batswadi ga ba dire go tlala seatla go ba fatlhola and then gape batsadi le bone ba ikutlwa o kare batjha ba ga ba ba tseetsia ga ba leka go ba lemosa dilo tse dingwe yaanong ga e tla mo kgang ya gore re ka dira jang re ka thusana yang gore re age setso se sa rona se sa rantsho ebe ke nagana ke re go ka nna jang ga batswadi ba rona ba ka se tlhole ba nna bofitlha ba leke go neeletsana ka kitso e ba nang le yona gore le rona re kgone go e fetisetsa mo baneng ba rona le rona ya ka re le batjha re ikokobeletseng batsadi ba rona re nne le kgatlhego ya go itse ka setso sa rona
ha o tla go sheba boloko a ke re bile ka boloko ke te ke re tlhalogantse boloko rotlhe kore boloko is African systems of living ha o ka tla go sheba go na le borangwane borakgadi bo malome mmerre le bagolo ba ne ba godisa di-families and bana boloko bo senyegile ka gore ha o ka tla go sheba thata gone yanong o itlhaele gore our family systems are not working the same as before ga di bereke ka tsa bogologolo ka ntlha re go ile ga nna le gap ile ya bulega that is why re kgetse dio tse gore bana ga ba retse ga go diriwe eng ga go diriwe tse dintsintsi tseo re fitlhela le gore ga re boela go bolokong bo le se betsa mo se bua bo colonial batho ba dina ba nna di-migrant workers bo re ne ba tsamaya ba go bereka there is a gap in bulega go sena motho o kgonang go godisa bana ka tsamaiso ya borre bontate hela jalo ba tla bo once a month a kgwedi e hedile so bana ba loser tse dilo tse dintsi ka tseleng tseng ya go tla go sa tlhokomeleng sentle le go sa guide sentle mo botselong.
We want to blame dilo tse di ko morago re re the apartheid regime, whereas ha re ka sheba nnete gompieno so se se tlileng ka mathata ke democracy e re leng mo go yone ke yone re tliseditse mathata because e tlile ka di-rights tse dintsintsi ke tle ke re bana ke re nna ga ke a gola ka di-rights ke godile ka dipapa jaanong wa bona di-rights tse tsa democracy tseno tse ke tsone tse di diretse mathata. If government can go back ya dira se bana ba se bua a ke re pele bana ba re is from grassroots level but not today ba tsaya ditshwetso ba batla mo go rona so a ba boele mo go rona ba tle go utlwa gore rona ra reng ka setso Africa way a re boeleng setso kana ha re bua ka Africa re bua ka lebala la rantshonyane ha batho ba ke ka gorela ke tlile la taba gaise ka ntlha ya sene ke tshwaregile ka sone re ga go etsa go tloga go bogosing kae gore e latlhegile kae e diregile eng ke tsamao e leng ka te mare dilo tse dintsi bagolo nnete ke tse di tlang ka democracy today
a ke le boleleng jana ba gaetsho ke hetse mme o pile phohu le naka ke nkya go bua jana tota some of lines mo constitution ya naga they must be repealed di shukliwe go ka go buiwa le batho mme ha go te batho bang ka 1956 ba dira charter a o no le tenses a o no le tembuti o no swema ba e direla wena o bo ka go buswa ka ena charter eo something might be wrong.
Thank you. I'll pick up from a different angle. The African family is built such that each member of the family has a responsibility over the other. For example, in the Western culture, you look after your immediate family, but ours is structured that you extend that responsibility. If we take, for example, what he has highlighted in Dabakatatumuni, Notatumdala, should the brother passes on, then Tatumuni has a responsibility and Tatumdala to look after the kids, because he is the father to those kids. And therefore, if the brother has passed on, then that responsibility automatically becomes his. So there is an attachment of responsibility in the way it is structured. And if you take it further to the community, you'll find that it is a dadom, meaning that he's a father, but the younger father. Now, when you go to the community, my father is a father to anyone in the community if he is of your father's age. And therefore, the way you relate to that person, you should relate to the way you do to your father. So it starts at home, but it gets extended to the community. I just wanted to bring up that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mzukisi. I would like to introduce myself first. My name is Mzukisi Sokosa. I come from the Jwaha clan. I'm from Kwakyane, Ilobe. I was Rolongi. We call it Kwataneka. I come to respond to the perspective that Prof has laid a foundation on about the importance of the family that is being played by Umagazi, and Umagazi. I think it is very important to acknowledge that configuring that kind of structure, our norms, customs, and values as African people were founded based on the foundation of respect. If we look deep and zoom in when we talk of Ubuntu, we talk all the characteristics that has respect in everything that is done. Now, this Malume, who becomes a father figure in absentia of my father, it's a kind of way of transferring that norm to young people, that respect must still be attained. Though my parents are not available, I am a father, and I am raising a responsible father to be. Having it in mind, let's make an example. This child does not have a parent. Whether whatever figure that we're talking about between those two figures, one of those figures are going to play the role in absentia of those. So we need to bear in mind that whenever we are talking about this Malume representative and Magaza representative, it was a way of instilling discipline and order within families. So it was instilled in a way of passing it on from one generation to another, and it became a culture. A culture that is very beautiful to look at. And it makes us unique as African people, because when you look outside of Africa, you zoom out of Africa, Western people, they don't exercise, they don't view family, they don't uphold the same rules as we are. And I believe that this is what makes us unique and beautiful in the entire universe, because of our values. They represent who we are and many things. So Ubuntu is what exactly keeps us going. I thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Tembela Mzungu. Empondolo eMazisi. Udadewethu wenzele private child kwaManqindi. Ngokwesintu ke engafananga badithethe khona kodwa ke kuba sesibizi, I'll take the opportunity. Ndifuna ungena kulaa part yokuqala about the reason why the African family was structured the way it is. And within there, I am not going to get into the general one, the economic, the legal, and I'm going to get into I've got a very loud voice. I'm going to actually use my voice. Thank you very much. I am going to address the spiritual part of the African family, hoping, as you were emphasizing, of that there are traditional healers here. I'm one of them. That you were cognizant of the fact that it will come in, even if it wasn't mentioned in the sentence per se. In the African family, we've got men, Sinomalume, Otatomini, Otata. But in the African family, we've got Intombi. Now, Intombi is what would then evolve to be Utatobawo, spiritual. Ekayeni, in the African tradition, there are a lot of dynamics that the men are either looking after or they are their direct responsibilities. Some of them are shared both by the men and women. But there is a specific duty in Ntombi on top of all duties. Once there is a problem in connecting with the ancestors. Umzekelo would be, for instance, when there is a problem ekhantini. Nithi nisenza umsebenzi ekhaya kungahambi kakuhle before niye egqirheni ezikhaya. Intombi nezendileyo nesencinci ezendileyo zikhula iqhiya zihambe ngamabele zipha ekhantini ziyothetha nabantu abadala. That is the role of Intombi. Now Intombi to abantwana be brothers udadobao. Now within this, I am not going to go deep into who actually becomes udadobao because that's a very fertile ground. But I just wanted to touch on the spiritual part that then the people who actually call the shots, means for the mere fact that it's them who actually intervene for ikaya, akukho ubunzima, nezinto zezinyanya. They continue, they evolve to become izinyanya is powerful. Now, I am not sure, I'm not going to be able to answer this, but I hope somebody else can pick up on this. That why is it that the Africans decided that Maibe Zintombi who have this responsibility? Because I am not saying they are the only people, no, but they have this responsibility of being in charge of the spiritual survival of a clan. And I hope everybody heard me.
Abanye, in some cases, abanye abantwana ufumanisa into yoba akazazi nesiduko sakhe. Imbi loo nto ayinakho ukwenzeka loo nto. Ayinakho ukwenzeka. Kuba andizazi isiduko sam, ithetha into yoba ndizakwenza imess apha endleleni. Thuba isiduko esi sibalulekile. utata ubangabako melelanga elisatshini usapho liyafa loo nto ibalulekile khe kwachatshazelwa into yobuntu and isakhile into yobuntu sisisizwe esimnyama isakhile buthe bawulahleka ubuntu salahleka sonke thatha kudala bekuhanjwa ngabantu ngenyawo kungekho transport hanjwa ngenyawo ufika utata exwaye idyasi yakhe ne-briefcase yakhe ibhegi yakhe ehamba ngenyawo usuka kwicala elikude laloo ndawo ahlala kuyo uhambela izihlobo zakhe kwelinye icala but ekuhambeni kwakhe udlula through ii-villages ezininzi kwezi villages adlula kuzo uba kusemini kubodwa eyi ngumhambi lo udiniwe lo mntu utata wasekhaya apha mfondini ngawukudlula apha kuyaziwa abantu bahamba imigama emide ubuntu bethu busenze sangabantu lo tata uzawubizwa ahlale phantsi apha ukhutshwa ikani yamasi phaya agalelelwe atye ahambe edlule indlela yakhe isende ubuntu bethu usigcinile sakwazi uba simanyane asikwazi ungamanyani uba ngaba siyakwazi ukuyenza loo nto mna ukhula kwam ukufundiswa irresponsibility umncinci ootata bebedla ngokuthi kwedini ilanga alinakuphuma usalele kufuneka uyikwekwe uvuke kwangethuba uyokroba ebuhlanti impahla ngabe isaphelelena akho monakalo ukhoyona ibe indlela ofundiswa ngayo inkathalo yikhathalele into yakokwenu so abo bantwana bakhule ngolo hlobo andiyilileli nangoku indlela endakhuliswa ngayo ndiyithanda kakhulu indlela endakhuliswa ngayo phambi kwezimini zanamhlanje bekuzathiwa kwamagama asetyenziswayo child abuse xa uvusa umntwana ekuseni uba makahamba ayojonga ebuhlanti bakho monakala ibimnandi nento obubona uba tyheni uromesi unethole ubonwe nguwe kuqala uyikhuthala elathole elawudeske layanyaniswe nawe uba mawulikokose ukhula kwalo nathi ekuhlaleni kwethu kumele into okokuba kube senzizo zinto ngelishwa ke kuthiwa we are backward once siyokucinga kezo zinto nje kuthiwa hayi no lelinye ixesha but ulelinye ixesha usenzakalisile ulelinye ixesha uba ngabe sinoke sikwazi ukhangela sibuyele emva embo esi sizwe sethu singaphinda siphile kakhulu hayi mandiyeke kulaa ndawo bendijonge le ndawo yefemeli ukhe wachaphazela njingalwazi ukutshatyalaliswa kweziseko zobukhosi andifuna ungena mhlawumbi zenzethethe intende kodwa ke ndinayo loo nto leyo yokutshatyalaliswa kweziseko zobukhosi ngamakoloniyali angene apha asikhumshisa sakhumsha sacinga into yoba siphucukile kanti siphuncukile ngokwazi ukukhumsha kakhulu amakoloniyali ke eze nobuchopho nobukrelekrele babo bafika apha singathi thina sivalekile basiqhatha ngendlela iinkosi zethu zaphelelwa ngamandla ngenxa yoba kuthe gqi lo mntu uzongenela eli lizwe ekulawula inkosi apha ndifuna uya kule ndawo iinkosi zixabisekile but ngelishwa kule mihla namhlanje sifuna uziphosele ekhitshini iinkosi zixabise asinakuphila indlela yabantu basentshona masiphile indlela yethu thina abantu bamnyama balapha eAfrika nothi sifuna ukuphila indlela yabangeneli silahleke apho ubuntu bethu buhambe baphela ngenxa yezo zinto zenjalo now iinkosi zethu zithe zawuhlutheka amandla zadeleka ndihlala ekansileni kamasipala kukho iinkosi eziseva kwamasipala I'm worried azifumani irespect ezifanele uyifumana zizinto ezibangela into yoba ungakhathaleleki ubuthina bethu bantu bamnyama. Inkosi zazalwa zanezizwe eziziphetheyo, but namhlanje kufuna ukuchithwa yonke loo nto yoba inkosi bezizo inhloko zezizwe. Izawuba inhloko ephilileyo inkosi okanye utata okanye usibonda, uyaba inhloko ephilileyo ngenkxaso yabantu asebenza nabo. Yedwa akazukwazi ungayedwa. But ke sinengxaki thina, sibeka umntu phantsi agqiba sifuna umdubula simlahle phantsi.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sandisiwe Nobongoza. I'm from Tanzania. My clan name is Mahongwai, Maswat, Osabwe, Mosun. Ndizalwa ngoonyosi. Oonyosi abazalwa ngamagqwirha oogqarha. Oogqarha abazalwa ngothanda. I got confused somewhere along the way. There was a definition of what a family structure is, and we were told that a family structure is a mother and a father. Now, some children, as much as to conceive a child, it needs two people. Yet, some kids are brought up only by single parents, and where only a mother is present, and where only the child knows only the mother's side of the family. And I feel that we are failing to represent that, where culture is concerned, where religion is concerned, and where knowing yourself is concerned. I think we need to look deeper into that before one can actually say that the head of a family is a man. Because in some family structures, the head of the family is a woman. In some family structures, where there's both a mother and a father, that family can only have females. That family will have 4 females. And there's no man to pass on that generational knowledge. And therefore it's passed on to females. And those females immediately assume the role as the head of those families. And it is them that stand and practice those roles and teach their children. I think we are focusing more now on the gender side of what a role of a man is, as opposed to looking at what the role of a family unit is, of what family really is. Family is not about 2 individuals, but family is a unit. It's 10 hands of different people uniting together. My family doesn't necessarily need to be the people that have given birth to me, have taught me, and have given me life. Yet my neighbor is my family. Because tomorrow, when I have problems and my parents are no longer there, I will go to my neighbor and my neighbor will help me. Therefore, as Africans, we see that as family unit. We're only focusing on one aspect, and I think we need to go broader into this before we're able to see this is what a family unit is. This is what being family is. Before Sitima, how can we go back when we are able to sit here today and take out certain portions of what a family is? Thank you.
Bantu bonke bakhona igama lami ngeMono Mabajaji umzoto wakhe Nyelenzi Maphanga imali nami ndithi la eMtanzania ngohlala sikhuma ke akucenda abosiphuka khona indawo yakwafeni kulala nesezansi apha kwasezela ibizwa ukuba seNcimbali ndizama nje nam ungena nje kwindawo encinci kule ndawo yoba ke kuchazwa into yoba kutheni le nto ifamily okanye si-structured ngale ndlela senziwe ngale ndlela. Ndicinga into yoba phaya kudala, ndiyayicinga nje loo nto, ndicinga into yoba phaya kudala before kufike indlela okanye kufike abantu sikhala ngabo okanye le ndlela ke izinto zingayo ngendlela ziyiyo ngoku, ixesha lokwazi kakhulu udibana nezinye intlanga. Aba bantu bamnyama babe nendlela yabo yokukhulisa isizwe. Ubusithi masenze umzekelo, ubusithi ke abantwana abakwi-group age ethile bebekhula bonke besazana into yoba lo intanga kabani, lo ungumkhulu wakabani, bakhule ke ngokwezo ndlela. Nenhlonipho ibivela ngokwezo ndlela bakhula ngazo, nalapha ekukhuleni nasekudlaleni. Ndenza umzekelo, nasekuthiwa apha ekukhuleni kwamakhwenkwe bebethana ngentonga, kudlalwa intonga, bekusazanwa ngokuba le idyongo, liya idyongo yedyongo, liya ibiyindlela ebengicinga kukhululwa ngayo. Kanti ke nasefikile kwenqanaba lento yoba abe ngutata, ebefundiswa ke ndicinga into yoba ibi-community ibifundisa ke ukuhlala, ngoba kudala kwakulinywa kwakungayo ezivenkileni, kwakungaphangelwa. Impangelo yayiyoba kuhanjwe kuyolima. Ndicinga uba indlela ekwakuphilwa ngayo yayingamasimi, kwakubotshwa iinkomo. Futhi nangoku seyisondela uphela, abantu babebuya ekuphangeleni ngosekukhona impangelo, babebuya ekuphangeleni ngexesha lolima, kubuye kuzolinywa ekhayeni. Kodwa ke ngoku ayisenzeki loo nto. Kodwa ke ndizama ucacisa into ethi mandenze umzekelo phaa ekhaya nam ndikwindlu yesithethe. Phaa ekhaya kwindlu encinci, phaa ekhaya besikhula, ootata ke besebehambile bonke, kushiyeke umakhulu. Kodwa abantu ebebekhona phaya ekhaya ebesikhula nabo ibingengomanzotho odwa, ibingabanye nabezinye iziduko, umntu azilande semdala. Kodwa ke ngexesha sikhulayo, sikhula ingabantakwethu, and sikhula sixelele into yoba lo ngubani, singaxeleli into yoba ngubani wakwabani usukaphi. Ekhulela apha kuweni, and futhi nokumhlonipha. Uba ungumkhulwa wakho, umhlonipha ngoba engumkhulwa wakho, awumhloniphi ngoba eze uve into ethi wayeze nomama ematshaweni okanye wayeze nodabawo kumzothile. Ukhula naye, umhlonipha ngokwaloo ndlela. Ze xa bebadala ke, uba usekhona okanye ke umntu omdala apha efemelini, abaxelele okanye ke baxelelwe yilali. Kodwa ke eyona nto ndifuna uyithetha ethi yayinjongo yento yoba kukhuliselwe ifemeli. Ndizama ukuthi ifemeli le okanye i-community lena ibe nendlela yokukhula bengabantu abanye, behloniphana, kunikwana umuntu ehlonitshwa ngokweroli yakhe, engahlonitshwa ngokwentwanayo. Ngoba ukuza kule point kasise begqiba othetha ngayo, kuyenzeka kule femeli abelalini ibe ngomama plans, kodwa bebelinyeka, bekukwazi ubotshwa inkomo, kuyobotshwa inkomo, kube bahambe kuyolinywa kwela khaya. Kungathiwa hayi ngamankazana la ngiyaqola usebenzise lo gama kodwa ligama lesixhosa ngumzi wamankazana lwa akukho nto akukho nto anoyenzelwa mawabone bona ngendlela mabenze ngayo ndizawukhabe ndibeka phantsi alizwe
I just want to give you a clear vision of what she's talking about, of being only girls at home. We were 5 girls. First two passed on, and then now we're the last 3. I'm the youngest at home. There are no men folks at home. It's only that our sons and grandsons. So whenever there is something that has to be done, we need to stand up. Fortunately, now say fortunately, singamagqirha amathathu efemelini ngabatshana bam ababini abangamagqirha then ibe ndini. So whatever umsebenzi owenziwayo ekhaya, I need to be there. Funeka ndiyocela kumem nayibuhlanti ndicele uba indoda eza kujonga wonke la msebenzi uza kwenziwa phaya. So if siyawisa uba siwisa incamazana encinci inkomo encinci, I've got to be there. Ndibe ngowokuqala sihlinze senze yonke into siyohlula inyama sithi leyo yotata because siyakwazi ukuyenza, leyo yotata izawusheka ebuhlanti, le iya koomama eziko, right? Boomama nizayipheka ngohlobo nohlobo, siyakwazi ukuyihlahlula. Nenkomo enkulu ngokunjalo siyakwazi ukuyihlahlula, siyazi uba izawubheka ngaphi na, siza kwenza njani na. Ithi laa nto ke ngoku xa kukumeko enjalo, wena ungumama ungudadobawo uyinto yonke phakathi kwekhaya, you need to stand up because akekho ke ngoku umuntu ongutata. Unfortunately for thina asinatata omncinci ekhaya. As she says uba utata came from Africa, right? He came from Zambia, wezapha sazalwa salapha sagoduka saphinde sabuya salapha. Asina utata omncinci. If senze imisebenzi yasekhaya funeka siyimele. If senze yakulo mama sikwazi ubiza amacwerha, sibize namabamba uba izani ke nini abantu bazala umamcwerha senze imisebenzi yamacwerha ngoku, izani nizoyimela. Kodwa uba imisebenzi yojango onyose ongonde ziyaburuba eneneni ifuna thi.
umahlangwana ngalendlela ezangayo is a contemporary situation ekhoyo. Kudala umuntu ebethu zabe nomntana abe kanti wendi, umuntu ongendanga obeba nomntana ibingeyonto ebirecognizwa and ibilungiselelwa, because i-African family nzawutakataka ndicela umuntu orecordayo abe cognizant of that fact. Umuntu kudala some 350 600 years ago ebehlala ku-institution ekuthiwa yi-family that had i-defense system yakhona, economic situation yakhona, education system yakhona. Uyitatshile umxesibe noxa engakhanga ayibeke ngoba yi-education, kodwa abantu bathi abantu baxelelwe wayitatsha kunye nothahla. Ibiyi-system eholistic ngoba bezikhona zonke ezi systems esizibona zingo-department of namhlanje. So la defense, it was to protect the identity of the family. Ebethathwa umntana lapha ekhaya omithileyo engendanga ayowufihlwa ngapha kweza ndaba zingapha kwezandulo. Laa mntana uzawukhulela phaya okanye ukhulela kwenye indawo eze ngohlobo olu-very respectful, kuxokwe kuthiwe umntana hayi kwaxokwe, but to protect the identity of the child and the family. Yende intombi. There was a system like one case as khona zonke as government departments within the family. kwakho health, and mhlambi kwakho ne Department of Morals. Whether you call it moral education or moral zambiyazi, bekukho omama, the elders within the family, abazawucheck intombi phambi nikeze nomathile xa bicelile. Bebesazi uba kule intombi yazalela ngapha kulaa ntabi ngapha kwezanduli kukwiinto abangazuzenza izento bingazucaca le nto kuba lo mntana lapha emazizini funeka ende. Yiyo le nto ubufumanisa uba xa ujonga, I am 60 years old. I don't remember a single person who was born of a single woman. Ngoko. Kuba, all these departments to a certain extent used to work, quote unquote, effectively. Now, ibiba yilo game nalo game umntu xa emithiswe komkhulu, for instance. Apho ingazude iqokelelwe kangaka laa nto, because we all know that i-position yomuntu oyinkosi ibingazudifane ncam nye nale yethu singabanye. Uzaba nesisithembu ukumkani uxola uba ndingene entweni ndingengomntana komkhulu. Uzaba nesisithembu sakhe apha ne. But la makhosikazi angamanye andiwazi uba ayechuzwa kanjani. Kodwa bekhona amakhosikazi azawube athi xa nkqonkqoza kungathiwa uzowufunana apha ekhaya. Nabo bantwana imeko yabo ibithathwa ke ngolaa hlobo ithathwa ngalo. Now, le nto siyithethayo in the latter part of i-discussion kamahlongwane okanye it was an entire discussion, inyani with respect to the current family, because kuye kwaphela ubuntu. Kuphelela nyani sasinayo esasiyilungiselana ngobuxoki, because we wanted to make sure that we are a stable entity as an African family. Kungabe kukhonje umntakabani ukuba ngowaphi. Yes, abebakhona umntana wentombi yalapha ekhaya eyalahlwa indoda. Zibakhona ezo zinto, we can't run away from them. But nazo bezilungiselelwa within the family structure uba angahleleleki. And nalo sisi mhlambi ngamaxesha uswelekelwe indoda ena 6 years qha emzini. Akhululwe kweminye imizi uba hayi ungaphindela kokoni, ingakumbi xa intombazana umntana. Befika phaya ke ngoku kwenziwa icebo loba mhlambi angaske ke aphele engaba sisezawuthi umntu othile xa nkqonkqoza angabuzi buvela nditshona laa mntana ebelungiselwa. You wouldn't find anything called ubuyithini xa ikhumshayo ngwani, a single parent household. Ibingabikho kudala la, ikhona ke ngoku. And for us as Africans, it's a little bit difficult to handle it in the old-fashioned way, because dala besihlomlelana besiqhekezelana bekude kubekho items ezimandi ezithi ukumbona ukutya umbona kukuchubelana. Ungenawuze ugqiba isikhwebu sombona ungakhange ukuqhekezele omunye. And laa nto it went further than just thina as ifamily yalapha emsele. Kukho abantu ngohlobo esime ngalo ke thina phaa ekhaya, kukho abantu abangapha kwendlela abaphantsi kwenkosi yasemazizini uBhola. Into esiyenzayo on a day-to-day basis kufuneka siqinise kuba nabo iba impacta positively, because ngomso xa kusithi gqi abantu baphaa phesha kombhashe bezosihlasela ngabantu bakwaBhola aba-interface nabo. Funeka la madoda alapha alungisiweyo for i-defense ngohlobo oluqala besebancinci abantwana makhongo babethana neentonga. Bawuthi befike ebudodeni babe sebefike kwistage apho bafundiswe ukujula umkhondo, ukuchane futhi umkhondo ukude. Now, i-system ye-African family yayinjalo. There was the Department of Health, the Department of Defense, the Department of Education, but yainga impatwa knowledge and the training in the way that it is done today. And then came the colonialists, and they introduced a concerted effort to kill Ubuntu, because one of the things that you pick up in all of what we're saying, sibambene, yayibubuntu, umazi umuntu. Mna, for instance, ndizowudibana ne-term ye-rape, ndina a massive in my early 40s. Thina xa siya concertini, buhambe ematyholweni, uhambe emahlathini, mna ke futhi ndiyacotha. Ndawuhlala ndishiyeke ebantwini. Inene msulwa kwaba khona umntwana oyinkwenkwe okuhamba lapha esikolweni ozawuthi chu nam. Never, not once did it ever happen into yoba kubekho i-suggestion yoba kukho anything else except obu buntu boba mama kungakho mntana intombazana wawushiyeka emahlathini yedwa. So ubuntu bu-erodwe zizinto ezininzi, iqaliswe imali le nto, because abangezi, the Hollanders, the Portuguese, the Germans, all of them beza apha ekhaya kuba befuna imali. Ba-introduce ke ngoku i-poll tax at some point, so that sizokwazi ukubabhatala nge-labor yethu. Akho nto basenzele yona, but sibabhatala nge-labor yethu. Ukuze ukwazi ukuyibhatala funeka uyobasebenzela. Yaqala ke ngoku imbamba. And it continues to this day. Noma thina sihleli apha nje, uNicholas Oppenheimer noRothschild noSoros, they are discussing ways of destabilizing Africa even further. Ukuze sibe singamaxhoba abo, kwaphela la solidarity that is at a primary level. Yoba ndazi uba xa uMahlongwana etyholwa ngento emsebenzini, ndizawuma naye. Uba siyagxothwa sobabini kulungile intsima sekhaya ikhona, soze ndilale ndingatyanga ngenxa yoba kuthiwa andifumani le 200 rand yahamba yaphela. And they do it every day. Into yokubonakalisa uba abafuni sibe kuyo. Andifuna uyitatsha le part yomhlaba because ndivele ndipilelwe ligazi kuba nathi siyamosha kwethu. Having been poisoned by the colonialists, sayivuma, and to an extent siyayiperpetrator laa nto nathi. Kuthiwa ngo-94 apha sinalo mgogwana walo rhulumente sinaye wenkululeko. I'm sorry to use that term, but that's what is actually turning out to be. Because asinanyani. Sorry, comrade. Asizelanga loo nto, but I have to mention it. Abantu bakuthi bazawuvuma uba ngoku lalali yethu yayinee-families ezisixhenxe okanye ezisibhozo sinazo neentsimi. Ngoku into eyenzekayo asiceli mhlaba kwezaa ndawo zazingazazihlaleni. Into esiyifunayo, we want a piece of the land that the people who have the land already have. So what do we mean by we want our land? Because we don't utilize the land. The land is there, but no, I want a piece of Mahlongwana's land. And then there's such a fuss on the part of respect, which I think was the formation of the African family. We are the ones who are killing respect amongst ourselves towards each other. Ngoku, we can walk out of here. Sorry, I'm just using you as an example. Sidibane nenkosikazi yomlungu nenkosikazi yomntu omnyama apha phandle. Noba laa nkosikazi yomntu omnyama inxibe kakuhle uyayibona uba iphuma emotweni kanokuthi umntu esizamhoya ngulunkazi lo. Andilaze liyeza basityela loo. But that's the reality. These people are busy trying to make sure that we don't get together. We allow them to destroy our family unit. Whatever I might understand as a family unit, but To me, it is the glue that keeps black people together. We allow them now to take our country even further away from us. It was nayo. Sihlonipha bona asihloniphani. In the olden days, they were done as a family, which is how we managed to succeed and survive. I came across a clip some time ago. In Dala, when one of the African, what were they called? Dimbiga history was a Briton who was sent to Africa. You can call him a missionary. He then went back to the British Parliament to report. The clip is from about 480 years ago. He says, I have traveled the vast expanse of the rich land, the rich culture, the regal kings and queens. African was Tanvi. But I think our only way of making sure that we get what we want from them is to systematically undo that culture. That very good culture that they have of holding each other's hands, and entice them to believe that ours is a better one. I said, no, about what happened up to 1994. But that we have 1994 now, and our family unit is still as it is really something to lament about. I might not say anything more after this, but I really need to thank you, Prof, for having organized this so that even if we don't do anything more than just air our views, at least there's an outlet for some of the pent-up frustration, because really, the African family was a very important asset to us, both for our survival, for our sustained being, and for passing it on. The only thing that I really lament about it is that most of what we know is by word of mouth. I heard from somebody who's older than you, who heard from somebody who was much older than them, that the reason why Yinza was killed was because he said, we will wait for the day when the African body or the Xhosa body can ruminate grass to feed us before we kill our cattle. I didn't know that he ever uttered that because it's not written anywhere. But people who lived with their great-grandfathers and great-great-grandfathers had that. We lost a lot of our history somewhere in there. I need to thank you and stop now. I think I've spoken for a long time. Thank you very much.
Iba lasiya ngoba nyalo lo mntana sokunabo 7-8 besifuna kuhamba naye until aze afike la alotsholwa khona bese nalapha aqala kushelwa khona ukuthi ngesinto kushelwa se emva kwona lo uma ngabe uyamthatha lo muntu kwenzeka kanjani until kuze kuyofika la abese seubizwa ngokuthi umfazi ngoba awubi umfazi ungakahambi izindlela lezithize. Lo mfana senako-ke so unanjani usidzandzane so uyawati amasiko ala ekhaya so ufundzisiwe ukuthi ngoba angumfana nentombazane fanele atiphathe njani. So uyaqala ke nyalo lo mfana uphuma timpumamlotsi ngisiphi isifundo befanele usafundiswe sona umntwana socala
umntwana uma saphuma njengomuntu bese siyayibhala intombi ngathi lokuthi lo mntwana uyamtshela ukuthi nyana wena lo sokukhula sonke sicela ukuthi ukhonze kuphela umuntu lo njengowesilisa awumjwayeli akasingani wakho la ekhaya impilo yakho ingakhathi ekhaya awuhlumela ukuthi ube ngaphandle kungakhona usebenza indoda ekhaya nawe nje uqondana nokuthi ekhaya wathi ukuthi kwentiwa kuyasetshelwa uphume ekhaya unangabe uyafunda esikoleni umuntu wesilisa uyamsaba awukavami ukuthi ube nomngane wakho udlale naye.
So naleso sigaba uyafundiswa umntwana wonke aneka nasa aphuma letimphumamlomo kusho ukuthi so ulestage lesi noma hamba umboni ukuthi uyangala noma ushonele umgcobo ngaleyo ndlela le uqala umfundise ukuthi nakugezwa ngoba intiphi letinzawo lokuthi nangabageza funa agcizelele impilo ngoba lo mntwana sowuqala abe nephupho uyamkhomba-ke bamkhomba lapho ezaziwako nawe wena mama uyamfundisa ukuthi letinzawo lekunephunga ntiphi fanele ende njani kani-ke kuyatfolakala lapha ukuthi nathi phuma letimpumamlotha timpumamlotha ngilamabele nawalamancane ngalesinye isikhathi tiye tivele letimpumamlotha i-age yalo mntwana akukafanele ukuthi ngabe uphuma letimpumamlotha noma nabo 8, 9 years akafanele ukuthi kube naletinto bese lo mntwana uyathathwa uya kugogo wakhe nyalo noma simbona umntwana usunabo 9 years 10 years ngavele impumamlotha atithanyela bamyekela gcina benemabele amakhulu kangaka kanti le-age yakhe ayivumi ukuthi abe nema-breast nawalasa aphuma abadimuma wentwana kulakushidile ngabo usuyathanyela uthanyela umkhulu wakhe ngabe uphuma litulo asebenzisa umshane and angenda njalo lokho lamabele ayanyamalala lawa elimpumamlotha until azakhula benabo 14 years esanabo 14 years angaphinze avele lawo mabele lawo sekuyabonakala ukuthi lamabele ahambisana nale minyaka lomntwana lana emva kwakona lokho-ke ubese uyaxoxelwa indzaba yokuthi abadi naye ukuthi labo bhuti wakhe akasagezi embikwabo bagezi dane nabo so uyabahlonipha ngalento-tikhathi ngobe usuke angenayo lwendlela bayibita ukuthi i-self-esteem so ngabe ungumdala ufaneleke ukuthi umnake kakhulu lowo mntwana umchazele ukuthi lamajijile akavelile atawunyamalala ukhula tigaba letitsite lafanele atihambe angafiki ebudzaleni
labe mantombazana kunengoma eshatshelwayo le egumele ukuthi umntwana sowukhulile kunengoma leshatshelwa le egumele uyagitshiswa kunetinto letibekwa kubuhlanu kube njalo Echwala na khona la mwana azungana sokhulile
akwendeke intsamba ngobusuku leyo athi apha amathithola ukuthi sokunengula khona so uyasho ukuthi ema noma ngikula gogo enesendimele manje geza uyageza umntwana ulanza lokhu kokumnesa uyamkhomba ukuthi enda so uvimbele embo ingaze ingelise ngoba phela kwanje sowukhulile lokuthi saluthi vala so gqoke so umyekele-ke lolu bhadla ngoba vele lesikhule ngelibhadla thatha lolu bhadla lokulaliya thatha loko lebahondayo dzala lukadzala siqedasikoda gogo yanelibangadieni ngoba loko letinto takhona uyawubopha liya lakhe ubamsisi nyalo-ke tiphathe kahle-ke ntombi yami lo nje sowukhulile kulokho sowubona lempela ngicela ukuthi wena nyalo uyamsaba wesilisa manje unokuhlale kahle akukagcini futhi ukuthi uyibone lento leyibona utaphindile khona emalangeni vele nje basenje seyisho lokukhulu kulokho
amaZulu nemaswati bekangakusebenzisi lokho sizathu ukuthi labantu befanele bahambe baye etimbini bayolwa ngeke akhona ukuthi ayolwa anesiyongo ngala nakubo botsatsa lo awuhlaleli stage lesithile ukuthi ungazofika le stage lesi sengilafanele ukuthi uqale ufundziswe ukuthi fanele utiphathe njani unabo 15 16 ubese uyatshelwa ukuthi umntwana wentombazane utiphathe njani nabo uma ngabe avakashela ukuthi sowufika isikhathi sokuthi abe sesikhathini bayamtshela ukuthi udigcina njani kaningi-ke bayamtshela futhi nokuthi nebafana batawufika lapha kuye bafune kwenda njani usuke lo mfana safundzisekile ngiyo le ndzaba kuthiwa umfana wentombazane angagana noma agwabule isibaya seyise kubese kuba khona inhlawulo lebakhona nakahlangana nanomdijale lelimsoma basuke bamlotile ukuthi fanele aliphendule athi fanele kuze alihlule lelijala ufuna aliphendule njani usuke satomile
angithi-ke yapho nokubonakala yapho kusuke kubonakala kulukhulu lokuthi ijaha yami akukhanyi kwayo uma yesheya emantombazaneni akunampumelelo yokuthi ithandwe intombazane bese-ke kuyasukunywa-ke kuyokhiwa umyeni usho ukuthi-ke ayokuconywa bese bazaye bambonela ntombazane umathi umfana ukuthi singaya sokhuluma nemnumzane sibanibani ngoba siyabona ukuthi kunebantwana nomantombazane mabili noma mathathu bese-ke bahamba-ke bawukhuluma nayo umzayi waya umantombazane kuyavunyelwana seke ngokuvumana kwabo-ke sebabahlanganisa bamthiya intombazane ukuthi nabo bakabani bazokuceya ukuthi kunejaha yabo ekhaya yabo yeyifuna umfazi ukuvuma kwantombazane usuke-ke sekuvumeka indaba sengiyapho-ke baza bahlanganisa-ke bobabili-ke babonane bese-ke bazayi bejaha ngiyapho-ke bazabe sebakhombisa ukwakha uhlobo ngiyapho-ke bazabe baye bokuqhela nomntwana ngenkomo avakashe yapha sebayafika-ke bayamfaka esibayeni bammekezisa baqeda kummekezisa-ke seke bathumeya-ke yabazawumisa umsasana yokudla kuthiwa ngumsasana yekhaya kubo ekhabontombazana so hamba-ke neyugege I mean nesuyamnyembezi yebamemeze ngayo nakabayeka yomakhosi bathi buya make sikubuyisa ngenkomo yemhlophe noma sikubuyisa ngenkomo yebovu noma imnyama ibhalomu abuyeke kuya kwakhe nasebamikisa yomsasane yomsasane sohamba-ke naye inkomo yesuyamnyembezi yenkomo yesuyamnyembezi ihamba nayibheka ziba zibili esuyamnyembezi yamama yezinyembezi kwekuthi umntwana bekaguya yayikhaya mama kambizi sebusuku bonke umntwana kakhala umntwana kahlukashukeka ngoba uyagula abe sokugcina namama naye uyakhaya futhi awuboni naye sokuchitha zinyembezi manje naye yababe yekumbheka emikhuhlaneni yomntwana kuthiwa yibheka nje yekumbheka emikhuhlaneni yomntwana wakhe ngokuthina kambe aphethe umkhuhlane babe uma kwagijima abheke enzansi amfuneke impilo aze kayithoyeke impilo noma uyithoya kodokotela besiyumbi noma uyithoya kodokotela besintu ayithoyeke yompilo umntwana usuyaphila.
Ngiyabonga Nkosi bami. Kunale ndlela leyo ukuthi
ngwana ka dobelego la belela ba bodele blake ba khola go bodela go nnaga go ja puntwela mogegolo go ja ba gala go ngwana o ile go shuga mondo nka gona ba sa rena bila khadi ya tsamaya ya tlhogle le ba se jalo ngwana o bele le tlo mokete le dina la ngwana na bile le wa gana mo tlo moka o fetsa puntwe dikalana tsa bana ya fa bana o ya lo na thowa ya moe go tlhatsa go ba e go tsatsana agana wa ka 3 days over 4 days 5 days 6 days 7 days o fitela ka mo a esa fitela wa bona fitela ka o ra re mo trust go ngwana o ra re tsogo la ga ga botsa ga botse o ra re bo nna ga mo fa le fe gore le phakisere ya lo mkhuba ngwana se ke wa bona boto ga mo we e na dilo go bija mongaka o bija mongaka o ka mondo ngwana a tha etwa ke o se ka mondo o bija mongaka wa ta na bile o lo montshe jang before ka montshe jang khadi bana ba khekolo bana ba tshitse miririela ore a yo jona ba ska ba bona miririela ka se sotho ya rwana ba ntse miririela ska jwa le miririela a be le go ka yona ina bile ngaka e montshe jang wa thushwa o thushwa mthusha ora khona go bona gore ga yo tlhakana le tselengwe ka monte a se ka tshoga matsoga ga batla se ka tshoga lo ja tlhakana re jona ke moka a ba mo dira lethemo dithopana nogana ka motho noga ke yona thopana ke o re a ba mothakgabetse je ka moka gore ga dira ka montebe le ngwana o shaphake ana bothata ena dilo shule ene ntwela re mo diela ntsho ke metsi re ja metsi re a beya ka re a beya re a tshela ka ra re fa ngwanola re mo fantsho re fa ngwanola re mo fantsho re ga ntwela le mo go bya gona ke ntsho o ba fitha le nako e re bona ra bja le ntshuyela a e sa mosudi ke mokarotsia go swabja ntlo motla ba mabele go bana o ja le o ja ke maopiela lena le kana se bopusitse gore na mara kampo go mo ba sa ja le o ja lela na bile ba le sefa ke re le dilo rena ro le sefolola gape ke moka le mabele ro a sefolola gape ke moka ra dira manola ra mofa metse re mane le tolanyana a mabedi gore se kana ba khumana le mbadi di e di ka rara molo ngwana na bile o tlhomile go bibela mpatšela dire ya le wa tlhatša bjale thoganela ya tsoga ka baka la gore noga a e kgone o šila gabotse ke bona o mo file overdose ke moka go togana ka gare bofare motlhabiša re a mo reta ntse re bolela le ena ga lle re a ge thokwa dimatswalaka go theletše mare mo reta re bolela le ena ke re a tlatse ba go bolela tshwanetse o thoma ka naboa mo bolediša ka sereto o diana o kgomola o mo reta ke moka shule e napile ya one le ena o kgona go tseba o re tshoka le kgona go tseba re thokadi ke mang o ta bona ebile go lebelela re o ra re o a tseba ka le go ta nako ela go a bula e ena pila ke ro bjalo wa bula bjalo le bana le mello bjalo le bana le tshwa seleka ke na ba seleka go bjalo ya bula o tshwara ba o isha tshwara go ke na be ro ya tata ya jalo tswana ra ya fisha ke mo ga ra khona go tseba ntwela ya fisha ke mo ga ibola ro ya tata ya tshuba ya go ba jantwe ke khama mo rutana bua ena pila go ta na gwa metsa tshwara metsa ke re ke ba ke ba tshwana ba togela di ba ke ka mara ya ke o khumana mo tshwa je metsa a bile ka rapa o khona go mutsi ya gore eish ya wa le go mo bolela le ena jana je o bolela ono ya wa la twa kwa ka bo wa twa ka mo ka tsena ka ke mo ka wa montsha ba phuma metsi ana o no khona tswa ro ba ke tle nna ke a tshwana go tshwara ke tsene ka mo ga na yona gore o mo rutla dilolwana tse tsa go ga le gore ntwa ya tshwana a go mole le kwa di TV na ke ma di ja go ne di TV o ska di meja ba thofa ntwela ya choka ke o jela tsogana la ya fisha o mo tshabisha gore ga yo dia iska da bu choka ka da jo ka no mo sa lo ro wa zaka go thapaka o to mo choka khumana ngwana o mi a ke
ne ko para lo bisha morero o ge ro khatsa ngwana na le mo ne di go di ka
ba ro kota
Ero kota ene asina ro jo ke kala bele ka correct.
Awa. Kala ke kala mo ri ke ni.
Eh, ke ro ri.